Yeah, so I've learned a lot from my earlier gurus. Vinod Sethi, Akash Prakash was my boss when I was in Morgan Stanley. And one of the things I learned is we all have biases when we are investing, is to reduce your bias as much as possible. It's easier said than done. And I'll give you a classic example for that is in late 20, we invested in PSU banks. And if you had asked me sometime in 20 that what do you think of PSUs and PSU banks, I would say value destructors. Why would you want to waste your time?
Right.
But we happened to, get a meeting with, one of the PSU banks who was doing a QIP in, I think, November of 20. And this was during COVID and government had come up with a credit guarantee program. And I was telling my partner that, let's do a Zoom call and we'll understand what is happening more than anything how the program is working. I don't think we had the even faintest idea that we will want to invest. But as the meeting progressed, we realized that their pre-provision profit was higher than their market cap, and we were thinking this looks so absurd. I mean, it can't be. And that's when we said, okay, it's too absurd. And we did research on a lot of the others, and then we looked at all the PSUs, and one triggered the next. Would we have expected that those stocks will give us 5 times, 6 times returns in the next 3-4 years? No. But what also happened was at that time when we had checked, the total PSU bank profits was about 20,000 crores.
Right.
In the next 3 years, they became 1,40,000 crores.
Correct.
So what also happened was a lot of things played well for them. They had already provided for the past sins.
Yeah.
And they were totally beaten down at 0.2, 0.3 book. So one of the lessons, as I said, is not to have biases, especially when you're going into a meeting.
Don't be dogmatic about
Exactly.
it.
So I know a lot of people who feel I'll never invest in PSUs. I mean, I'll never say that I'll never do this, especially in investing, because everything has a price, and price comes to a value.
Right.
And the value proposition determines whether you want to, invest into a stock or not. I mean, I can give you one more example. In 2008, it was 2008, post the Lehman crisis. When I was in Morgan Stanley, our fund had underperformed because we were very conscious on quality and what to own. The market rebounded very sharply in 2009, and all the junk had actually gone up. The low quality stocks. And I remember that time, Staples is something they were trading at the lowest premium to the Nifty in terms of valuation. I think Nestle was trading at under 20 times or something. You would have never seen such valuations.
Right.
And we had taken a call then to buy into all the staples. You asked me about staples. That's a time when we bought all the staples possible and in size. We have a fairly large fund, which was over 5 billion at that point of time. To buy staples at that size was, so we had bought a basket of 8 or 10 stocks, including Asian Paints and everything. And then what happened later was, because the government went into a sort of easing mode, and a lot of SOPs were given. You had this inflation going up, you had consumption booming. That resulted in these companies having top line north of 15%, bottom line grew much faster. They got re-rated from 20 times to now 50, 60 times.
Right.
So that was another
Except
time.
levers didn't perform, I think, over the
Even
next 10
lever
years.
performed, but in a much lesser fashion. But everything participated. So that is the other example that, at that time, nobody wanted to buy staples. Because why would you want to buy staples when the other stocks were going up so much?
Right.
So I said, you have to look at, as long as you're willing to take a bet and you have some method in the madness. Not every time it works. I'm sure I can give you examples of where things haven't worked, but that's how it is.
No, but what? Give me some examples of things that haven't worked that taught you something.
Yeah, I think the biggest mistake I would say is that we had a stake in a print media company sometime in 2007-8 who had an IPL team also. And for whatever reason, I was bullish on the company. And I did get some feelers that numbers are not okay. Then I did my investigation. I found that HDFC Bank is a lender. HDFC is a lender. and they're paying dividend, they're paying 30% tax. I said, things look okay. I said, HDFC and HDFC Bank cannot make mistakes. They have more data than I have.
Right.
As it turned out, it was a fraud.
Right.
So we were fortunate enough to exit surely at a loss, but not at such a loss because we did cut our loss. But sometimes you have to listen to, or when numbers are too good to be true.
You have to believe in your own.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I think everybody makes mistakes. If you have 70% of your portfolio gives you winners and you don't make big accidents, you should be able to do well in the market. That's how I would put it.
Even 70% is a big number, but
Yeah, 70% is a big number. I agree. If you don't have accidents, then even that number can be 60%.
Right.
But unfortunately, there will be some accident in the portfolio. I mean,
Right.
as I said, the best of companies can have some issues. We are seeing some of the banks having right now. So
What has been your worst mistake, let's say, in the last 5 years?
worst.
Any?
See, last 5 years, honestly, because in the phase that I am in, I don't have benchmark. So we invest only if we like. And I don't think we've had, I can say that, stocks which did well and we didn't participate because, say, IT sector was one, where my view was that the AI is disrupting them. But if you go back year and a half, or say even 8 months back, these stocks were doing extremely well. So obviously, the stock price was telling a story different than what the earnings were. The stock price was doing extremely well. So that, in hindsight, you can say that is a mistake, but it's playing out now. So I can't think of too many mistakes, also because we invest only in what we like.
Network 18 is now the clear leader in digital media with 55% more users on native platforms and social media than Times Internet. Network 18, the undisputed leader of news networks, way ahead of the times.